If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, let me give you a rundown. Basically, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need, all in one place. Here's how it works. Anchor lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to the most popular listening platforms, including Spotify, with a single tap. Anchor is also the only place you can publish video podcasts to Spotify. With Anchor, creators can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. That's right, it won't cost you a dime. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You won't regret it. Welcome to Of Men, For Men. Here we'll discuss issues pertaining to the modern day man. Subjects like health, wealth, lifestyle, gear, and relationships. So join me as we dive into the world of men for men. Hello, and welcome to the Of Men, For Men podcast. I am your host, James Rodney Lemax. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Come on. All right. Come on in. Kick back. Relax. Grab yourself a cool one. All right. Yeah, it's been a minute. I hope everybody enjoyed your holiday. Enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I hope you got together with your friends and your family and you had a lot to be thankful for. We all do. You know, we all do. No matter how bad your situation, we all have a lot to be thankful for. There's always something to be thankful for. You know, every day you get up in the morning, you can be thankful, right? And no matter how bad you got it, there's somebody out there that would trade places with you in a minute, right? So yeah, it's been, I don't know, about, a week or so since I was on here last. So yeah, it's been a while since I could hold my head up high. And it's been a while. Oh. Yeah, I got a face for radio and a voice for print, right? Ain't that what they say? Ooh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad each and every one of you have tuned in, giving me a little bit of your time, right? I appreciate it. I'll try not to waste it. I try to bring something, to the table each and every time. I try not to, repeat episodes. That's sometimes why there is a little bit of a gap in between episodes. Because, this is, third year into this thing. And it can get monotonous. And I don't want to be like the TV when you turn it on. You see and hear the same old shit, That's boring, I want to bring you different stuff. Yeah, we talk about men's issues. We talk about society. We talk about culture. All pertaining towards men and a man's viewpoint and how it affects men. And that's what we do here. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Fernando. We had a little interaction there over the interwebs, over the internet. He had commented on some posts, and I responded, and we had a little back and forth there, and
And he's an avid listener, and I appreciate him. I appreciate all of you, whether you listen on a consistent basis or not. I know everybody's busy and, doesn't necessarily listen to every episode, and that's fine. And not every episode may pertain to you, or you might not want to hear it, and that's fine too, right? I just appreciate each and every one of you, coming in and giving me a chance to, maybe spread a little wisdom if I can, right? You maybe enlighten you, maybe help you make a decision for yourself, one way or the other, whether you agree or disagree. I wanted to talk today about forgiveness. Forgiveness. We talked about, happy Thanksgiving, and now we're going to talk about, being thankful. Now we're going to be talking about being forgiving. And this is a trait you need to have, man. You really need to be forgiving. And I'm not talking about letting people walk all over you and being a doormat for people, right? Being a simp or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being genuinely forgiving of people who have done something against you or wronged you in some kind of way, and being able to forgive them. And that doesn't necessarily mean restoring a relationship or going back to the same old thing. You can if I can say it, you can forgive them and move on, right? And that's what I had to do. I have had to do that, and I used many years and enough whiskey to float a battleship around. And I drank enough of whiskey to float a battleship around. Oh, man. But I made it through. Thank God. And Greyhound, I made it through, right? Good Lord was looking after me, because I wasn't looking after myself. I was coping, and I was walking around with all of that, see? And that's what I do. If you're walking around with hate and discontent and all that frustration in your heart, it's eating you up inside. That person is not thinking about you at all whatsoever. They done whatever they done, and they done moved on. They done carried on. They're living out their life. They ain't thinking about you whatsoever. And you still hanging on to whatever transgression happened, to whatever you perceive, and you might have perceived it wrong. You don't even know, right? You could have taken something the wrong way, and they don't even believe or perceive that they transgressed you, right? But you believe it, and that's fine, right? Maybe you need to go talk to that person and try to work that out, see? But being able to forgive, so you are not walking around day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, month to month, year after year, with all this hardness of heart in you, because it's eating you up, and it's going to affect everything you do. It's going to reflect all your relationships, all your interactions with other people. I'm sure you've run into it. You've been out on dates with females, or been dating a female, and all she talks about is her exes or her last ex or whatever. She's still hung up. That's when you know you just need to step. She ain't over it. She hasn't forgiven him. She hasn't moved on. And then anything, anything that you do is going to relate right back to him. Oh, well, all men are the same. You just like him. Blah, 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 right? There ain't no need for that. If she's acting that way and you can see she doesn't have forgiveness in her heart, or she's constantly talking about the past and exes or her ex or this, that, and the other, best thing to do is step up off of that and move right on down the street and just let her go on about her business. Let that be somebody else's problem and not yours, right? And you want to be the same. You want to be able to forgive. You have to be able to forgive yourself, gentlemen. Forgive yourself. Forgive others and forgive yourself. Now, what are you talking about? Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You've screwed up. You've done bad things. You've screwed up over people. You may or may not even have realized it yourself. Some of it you did intentionally. You did it on purpose, and you know you did. And there are other times where you did something unintentionally, again, that you may not even have been aware of, that other person perceived as a transgression, right? And they took it that way. But you need to be able to forgive yourself for the things that it's kind of like, what is that 12 step, where you got to go and ask forgiveness of all the people, all the people that you can remember, at least, if you wasn't blacked out, right? I've never been through it. I've been to a couple of meetings, but I've never been through it. I just went with other people, see what was going on. But that is part of that process, forgiveness. You're asking other people forgiveness. And that's good too, asking other people for forgiveness. Especially if you did something wrong. And you may not be talking to that person, or they may not have, and you know what you did. Right? And whether you want to restore that relationship or not, maybe it's just best to just ask forgiveness. Now, I know some things that are better left alone. I understand that too. Maybe it'll just open up a whole nother can of worms. Right? But if you can, if you've done somebody wrong and you still on some kind of speaking terms, right? Maybe not on the regular, but every so often, at least y'all ain't throwing rocks at one another, right? It's okay to go and ask them for forgiveness and say, look, man, I'm really sorry that happened, or that I did that, or whatever. And I was wrong. And you don't have to explain it all, and be ready for them to, for them to blast you, okay? And just take it. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I screwed up and I messed up, and I'm going to do better, And again, you don't necessarily have to restore that relationship, but just ask for that forgiveness. Be able to do that. Humble yourself. That's the thing about men. Men, we have an ego and it needs to be stroked, and we want to be, the king of our castle, and, the Lord of our land, and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. That's what being a man is all about. But also about humbling yourself and being able to ask for forgiveness. Being able to do that is a big step, right? And being able to forgive others. You don't want to be walking around with that all in you all the time. It'll eat you up alive. You're walking around upset, mad, angry, frustrated, and you might not even know why, but it's because you haven't forgiven that other person for what they did to you. Right? And I've had some people do some really dirty shit to me, and I have at this point forgiven them all. And as far as I know, I'm on speaking terms with everybody. I'm not upset at anybody. I'm not angry at anybody. I ain't hating on nobody. I don't wish any ill will on anybody. Right? I have forgiven them for what they have done, because they're the ones, at least in my eyes, have screwed up. The ones that, I've done wrong, I've tried to make amends. Right? And that's all you can do. But you don't want to be walking around with that, gentleman. It'll affect your life. That's why you see people that are all hard of heart and angry and this, that, and the other, because they haven't forgiven. And they haven't asked him for forgiveness. That's why they're walking around that way. That's why they're walking around all busted and broken and all messed up on the inside. Right? And forgive yourself. Be able to forgive yourself. Like I said, you may have done something and at the time you didn't even know, what you was doing or how you was affecting somebody else. You were running on the information that you had at the time. We not God. We not all knowing and all seeing, and we can't pretend to be. I know we like to think we are, that we know everything and see everything, but we don't. Right? Be able to forgive yourself. Don't walk around beating yourself up all the time, man. Don't do that. Don't beat yourself up. Right? You got a destination. You got a purpose in this life. You got things to do to serve others, to help others, and to become all you can be and help others. And by doing that, you can help others to become all they can be. You can serve others, right? That's the best thing you can do. Help bring other people along, right? Don't just be all out for yourself. Try to help other people along. Man, we got to look out for each other. We got to help one another out, right? Because I seen somebody post something about, it was a female. It was on Facebook. She posted, that it's important for men to be happy too, right? It's important for men to be happy too. And I posted on there. I said that's true, but nobody cares. That's true. Men should be happy too, because it's always about females in a relationship. Oh, I'm not happy. Well, your job is not to make her happy, okay? She needs to be happy herself, right? And you need to be happy yourself. Now, there are things that we can do, to and for each other, right? To help bring along that happiness, right? But ultimately, nobody cares, If some dude or some female asks you how you doing, they don't really give a shit. They really don't. They just being conversational. It's like saying hello, how you doing? They don't want to hear your backstory. They don't want to hear all your secrets, all your boo-hoos, all your complaining, all your whining. Because everybody's got problems. Everybody's got things going on in their life. Right? Everybody's got issues. That's why we need to forgive one another. That's why you need to be able to forgive yourself. So you're not walking around beating yourself up, self-defeating, self-deprecating, self-destructing. That's not healthy, man. That's not healthy at all. Be able to do that. Be able to, to let those things go. You were working, with the best, and you might have made a bad decision. We make bad decisions. We make mistakes, and that's okay. Forgive yourself for the mistake. But at the time, you was working with what you had, and that's all you can do, and try to do your best. And if you screw up, and then that's where you go back and say, hey, I'm sorry, I messed up, It's okay. We're all human. We're all going through stuff. Everybody is. That's why I talk about we need to be able to forgive one another. Man, this country right now is so damn divided. It is crazy. Right? Everybody's talking about the left and the right and this gender and that race and Nazis and this, that, and the other. And it's all crazy. That's what the people in control want you to do, is fight amongst each other. That way you're not paying attention to what the hell they doing. And that's what we need to do. We need to unite and come together, people. And as men, you need to lead that charge. Be a unifier, not a divider. Right? President come in and said, "Oh, I'm going to unify. I'm going to be the president for both sides." Right? And then he come out and condemned half the damn country. Calling them fascists and supremacists and this, that, and the other. That doesn't sound like a lot of unison to me. Extremists, yeah, call them extremists. Because they have a different opinion than you, because they're critical of you. Come on, man. We all need to unite and come together and forgive one another. We got a lot more in common than we do different, all right? We all do. We're all human. We all need the same things. Everybody needs food, clothing, shelter, and some love. Whether you want to deny that or not, you all need those things, Food, water, clothing, shelter, and some love. We all need that. And we all need a little bit more love. And that's what forgiveness is about. Loving yourself, and loving that other person enough to forgive them. What did Jimi Hendrix say? The love of power. I'm going to mess this up. The love of power. let me see if I can paraphrase. Love and power only be defeated or go away when people figure out the power of love. I know I screwed that up. Look that up. Jimi Hendrix. But there's a lot of evil in this world, and there's a lot of evil. I don't even believe that some of these people at the top are necessarily evil, right? But there's evil spirits that are directing them, right? They're being influenced by evil. I believe in that. There's evil in this world. Believe me. There's some evil people out there. And they were born in evil, brought up in evil. And then practice it as an adult. So we need to figure this thing out, gentlemen. We need to get together, help one another along, love one another. Show that characteristic of forgiveness for yourself, for others. Bring ourselves together, humble yourself, serve other people. Because I don't think there's a whole lot more time. I think it's going to get a lot better before it gets worse. That's what I'm afraid of, because like I said, the powers that be are just trying to constantly divide us. Race, color, religion, sex, gender, everything. Trying to put everybody into a little group, right? And everybody's a victim, They've used victim as a currency, a social currency, where if they're a victim of something, then, they're held up at a higher standard than everybody else. They're the victim and you're the oppressor. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't done anything to anybody. I'm not trying to do anything to anybody. I don't know how that happened, right? All these, like, who was it? Michelle Obama, microaggressions. I never heard of that. That's made up term. That's made up. Microaggression. That's where you did something subliminally, subtly, that was aggressive. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That's your perception. That's not me. That's your perception. And that's what we need to get over. We need to get over that self, right? Get over that self. Get over yourself, right? All right, well, I'm going to get over myself, and I'm going to get over this podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in and giving me a little bit of your time. Check me out on the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Gab, and the locals. Post a comment, question, smart remark. I'll respond if I see it. It might be a day or two. But, if I see it, I'll respond to you. And if you got, anything, ofmenformen at gmail.com. Right? All right, man. Y'all have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Look out for your friends and family. Do the best you can. All right? I have been James Rodney Lemax, and you have been great. Yeah.
This will be a weekly podcast. You can find it on the Anchor app and anywhere podcasts are available. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. I look forward to seeing you there.